What's the craziest thing that you've helped somebody or you've seen in somebody when you've done like a past life regression or like inner child work and something that shocked you saying, oh my God, this is insane?
There was one really crazy session I had, which as a therapist also, I was like, as it was unfolding, I was just like, scribbling, taking notes, and like, because I have to make sure I take good notes, What happened was she had this insane phobia of needles and blood. Basically, she was pricked. She would absolutely pass out. Like before she could even see the blood, she would pass out.
Okay.
As we started digging and things came up, there was a past life involved. In the past life, there was a younger sister of hers.
Okay.
Basically, who died in that life and was born in this life as her mother. And part of the trauma that she had when she was a child, basically, was the incomplete relationship in the previous lifetime.
Oh.
So a lot of these kind of things come from like incomplete deaths,
This
not dying properly.
Spook you out when you're doing all of this?
Not anymore. No, not anymore. No.
Well, I guess it's time to play it again. Sam. Sam being me. And of course, on the course of my show, we have some lovely, wonderful people who I've met over the years, or I'm getting to know, who have some interesting stories to tell and some wonderful insights of their life to give that hopefully you find enriching. I certainly will. And we'll probably learn something and, imbibe something along the way. So today I have a very special friend. Her name is Tui Sigman. And she has a real name as well, but she goes by Tui Sigman. And what's wonderful about her is that she's a healer. And she helps people deal with a lot of trauma that they go through in their life. She uses spirituality and science and combines them in a very nice way and helps people heal themselves through various techniques and methods that she has. So today, I want to give her a big round of welcome on the show, looking lovely in the green. Tui, how are we doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
I know.
Yeah.
First of all, Tui, that can't be is that a pet name?
So that's been my pet name since I was born.
Who gave you a name, pet name?
My Masi.
Why did they call you Tui?
So she had a recipe book by somebody called Tui Flower.
Okay.
And while they were still finalizing my name, she said, okay, we should call her Tui. She said, yeah, she looks like a Tui.
This is your Masi's doing?
My Masi is doing.
She
and it
needs
just
healing.
stuck.
She needs healing for sure. How do you name a child?
It stuck. It just stuck. And like literally everyone calls me Tui.
And your real name is then?
Aparajita.
Aparajita.
Which I have kept.
Yeah.
It's like my legal name. I've kept it because I think it has a good energy and a good meaning, it means invincible, and it's also another name for Ma Durga.
Yeah. Oh.
So I think I draw a lot of strength from that name as well.
But Tui has got a catch, like it's a very catchy name, and it's got like a ring to it as well.
It's stuck. It's stuck. I'm Tui.
Yeah. And even your healer name is also Tui, so which is nice and interesting.
There's
the first time
literally no one that calls me Aparajita, so it wouldn't make sense for me to be like,
So the first time I heard about you, and I was told that there's somebody by the name of Tui I have to speak with, I just couldn't picture a person to it, right? And then finally I saw a photograph. Oh, this is a Tui? Okay, then I said, oh, it has to be a pet name. So, and we had a wonderful session after that, which we're going to talk about in a bit.
Yeah.
So here we are talking about healing and why the world needs healing and the various methods we can use to equip ourselves to heal and to understand ourselves better. So let's break it down and start off. And if it gets heavy, it gets heavy. It's
fine. So there's what I have found along the way, because I think I've come into this through my own healing journey, like many people do,
You were a photographer, right? When you started off?
Yeah. I mean, I was a documentary photographer, and I did that for a long time. And then
where did you do your photography course from?
So I did it from the Academy of Art University.
Nice.
So I did my master's there, and I came back, did a lot of documentary stuff. I did a bunch of documentary projects, and I think that's really, at that point, that was my purpose.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like, that's what I needed to do, and I felt like that was how I would change the world, help the world, and that's something that's always been with me, like a calling that's I've always had.
Where did you get that from? Where would a calling like that come to you?
I don't recall, but I've always felt like I should make the world a better place somehow.
And this
you know.
photography you were doing was nature's?
So no, it was documentary. So it was about people.
Okay.
I've always been very people-centric because you can do, documentaries about nature and all kinds of things. I worked a lot with children on the streets, under the flyovers on the Western Express Highway. I did a documentary project on older people aging in America, like, how they get put away into, in California was the Ashby Care Center. And I think that I really enjoyed doing that work because the artistic part of it was what really spoke to me.
Yeah.
It gave me a way to express something about myself, and I enjoyed that. But at some point what happened was my focus kind of shifted a little bit, as well as I got, let's just say I got jaded. A lot of people cheated me and wrongly used my photographs against, so it just felt like I was taking something from the people that I was photographing and I wasn't really able to give back.
We'd love to see some of those images of yours.
Sure,
if you have them,
absolutely, I have them. And so it kind of shifted me away from it, and I was anyways taking a break. I just had my son, my first child, and so that was like a bit of a break from me. And when I came back to work, I continued doing some portraiture after that, but I started kind of moving more towards quantum physics. I was reading a lot of that, doing a lot of meditation, and really looking for tools, to work with myself. Because that's when you have a child, I think a lot of stuff comes up of your own. Yeah, I mean, it did for me.
Yeah.
It does for some people. And so I started looking for other things, and I started with yoga. And from yoga, eventually I moved towards clinical hypnotherapy. So slowly I kept building my skill set one by one. And again, clinical hypnotherapy I learned first. But my first experience with any of these modalities, which was a mystical experience of sorts, was I had a TASO session, transpersonal regression therapy, and I had this post my yoga TTC. I was teaching yoga, and everything was going great. I did that for like a year and a half, and then I suddenly got this pain. It started out with like it would just come and go and come and go, and then it became chronic, and I was stuck with like this lower abdomen on the right side, and it was just like every time I was in asana, it would start, and it would really take me away from what I was doing. And so I went to the doctors, did the thing, got myself checked, and they said, you're fine, there's nothing there. Eventually that pain became chronic, and it became constant, and the intensity really went up. So at that point, I started to get worried. I was like, there's something wrong and they can't find it. And I used to tell my husband, I'm like, my older son was only 3. I was like, he's only 3, and then I had this acute pain one day. This is like 8 months later. I've gotten a clean sheet from the doctors. They said, nothing's wrong with you, go home, must be psychosomatic and this and that. And here I am worrying, like, why do I have this pain? I actually have a physical pain that I'm struggling with. And then it turns into this acute shooting pain, and I go to the hospital, have ultrasound, and suddenly I have this like hemorrhagic cyst, which is like about the size of a golf ball, maybe ping pong ball, somewhere in between that. And I was like, what the hell is this? And a hemorrhagic cyst, and they're like, no, it has compartments, and it's got like solid parts and liquid parts, and I got really scared. And then they tested me for cancer. And I had 15 days. They said, okay, after this, after about 15 to 17 days, on the second day of my cycle, they said, you come back for another scan. And at that point, I was really worried, and I was stressed because I was like, I have this little kid, and I'm like thinking about my mortality, those kind of questions, like, is this something to worry about? And I had just picked up, how those little boys come on the signals with books and things, and I love reading, so I always end up buying something from them. And I bought this book on quantum healing, which was just like, I was anyways into quantum physics. So I was like, what's this quantum healing? And I picked it up, and I was reading it, and I picked it up again at this time during this little break of 17 days. And every chapter ended with like an exercise. And so I started doing it. It was like you close your eyes. Sometimes I'd fall asleep doing it, like I was trying to do this exercise, and sometimes I'd fall asleep, sometimes I'd feel like I felt something, I saw something. And what it really taught me at that point was to kind of go into the body, through the mind, and kind of feel the different impressions when you focus on a different part of your body, and then something emerges, maybe a image, maybe a feeling, maybe a whole scene.
Wow.
But you be with it. You be with it, and there were techniques in that book which I used. And then I go back for my scan, and the doctor's like, on which side is it? My husband was on my left, and he pulls out the report. He's like, it's on the right side, it's on the right side. And she looks at it, and she's quiet. And you know how doctors get intense when they're doing your scan and they don't say anything.
Now when they're quiet, you're worried.
Yes, and I'm like, she should say something. So like a couple of times I asked her, I'm like, is it okay? And she's just like, and you know, quietly doing the scan. Then she said, okay. And she went out. She just left. And then I was looking at my husband was looking at me, and we were like, what the hell was that? Like, what does that mean? So then, you know, I quickly gather my stuff and all, and then we go out into her office, and then, so we ask her, so what did you know, what does it look like? And she's like, it's not there, it's gone.
No way.
I said, what do I have to do? She's like, you go home. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. So I was in shock the whole drive home. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? You sure she did a good job? Like, did she check properly? Should I have another scan? And she did like 2 scans. She did a proper scan and like an internal scan. And then like it started coming together. Like, you know, basically she said, you know, it's spontaneous healing. It can happen. The body, it happens. We can't explain it. Go home. Like, you're done. You're done.
You're saying that you had a cyst the size of a golf ball
on
your abdomen on the right side.
Yes,
and
yes.
this was probably cancerous or not. You did not know you were going to get further
I
tests.
had the test and it came out to be not cancerous. Yes,
non-cancerous.
that I knew because
but you were into quantum physics and you were reading about that, and then you went combined it with spirituality.
Yes.
And what book was this? What is this book?
Quantum Healing by I'll find you the
But it's amazing,
name.
and then you applied this onto yourself.
Yeah, I was literally playing around with the book. I had no clue what I was doing. This was way before I learned anything, all right?
And in 17 days.
Yeah, and in 17 days, it just vanished. And I was like, completely like perplexed. This is incredible.
A cracking case study for that hospital and the doctors saying what has happened out here.
Yeah, I know. But then...
And you never faced that pain after that till now?
So here's the deal, okay? Yeah. So that pain was there for about 7-8 months and then suddenly manifested into this thing.
Into the cyst, okay.
Into a cyst. And then the cyst goes away, and about like 2-3 days later, the pain comes back. Now I'm stressing again. I'm like, what the hell is this? Why is the pain here if this thing is gone? You know, and again, I go back to my doctor and she's like, there's nothing, you know, I mean, it's just, you have to figure out, like, there's no real reason and this and that. So then what I learned in my TTC comes back to me. And one of our teachers there said, pain and pleasure are both not in the human body, not felt in the physical body, they're more like in the etheric body. So like when you experience extreme pleasure, ecstasy, and orgasm, all of this is in the etheric body. And even pain, like, you know, the suffering, like you'll have 2 people with the same condition and one will suffer a lot more than the other one, but they have the exact same thing. So that's suffering. That happens like the way we were taught in, you know, from the Vedic point of view, was that it comes from the etheric body. And so I was like, okay, if this is the situation, this is where my pain's coming from, I need a shaman. I need someone to, you know, help me with this. So I got on Google. I knew nothing about this.
Healing.
Yeah, I'm like, I need someone who knows.
And you've gone there.
I'm like, I need someone who knows.
And you're flowing with all of this. And you're just going with it because the cyst went away.
The doctors can't do anything to help me. I refuse to keep popping painkillers. Like, how long am I going to do that realistically?
But you still till now don't know the cause of the suffering why it's happening, why this pain is emerging.
No clue. And so then I get on Google, right? And I'm like, I need a shaman. Shaman Mumbai. This is like 2014. 2013 or 2014.
Juhu, Bandra.
I'm looking closest to me, nearby. And I end up finding a clinical hypnotherapist from the California Institute. And I was like, okay, this looks good. And I had read all of Dr. Brian Weiss's books about regression and stuff. So I was like, okay, maybe this. And I just, like very impulsively, I just pick up the phone and I call her and I'm like, hey, this is my situation and I need help. She's like, okay, come at this time and I'll see you. So now I'm going for this thing. I have no clue what's going to happen.
But it's worked for you earlier, so you're probably going ahead with it and saying...
I knew that something worked, right, with this that I did, which was non-physical. It was like an intangible process that I did using my mind, going within myself, all of this. So I said, okay, I need someone to guide me because I really don't know how to go within myself. And so I show up at this place. My husband comes with me because I'm nervous, and he's like at a Starbucks.
What is he thinking of when all this is going on? Is he believing? Because
he's going with me because no, he
but his
didn't
mental
believe.
state, yeah,
But he was also surprised, right? Like the
Correct.
thing just vanished.
Yeah.
So, and then all my logic makes sense to him. So he was like, yeah, maybe go give it a shot. I mean, you have nothing to lose at this point, right? So he's waiting at a Starbucks, and 1 hour, 2 hours, my phone's vibrating. I can sense it. I'm in the session with her. She takes me deep into a nice deep state, and I have my first tasso session. 2 past lives come up, a bunch of inner children come up, and I release the pain in the session, and after that I never had the pain again.
Wow.
So then that is what, like,
Are you, one second.
That's how I
Really?
got into this line of work, was like, this worked. If this worked for me.
There are a lot of things you've said out here that I guess
Yeah.
like for people would be very new. They knew some of them for me as well.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you've gone through this journey
Yeah.
yourself, and that's what made you the believer.
Absolutely.
So you kind of did it onto yourself. It worked for you. What was your husband's reaction to it?
He was
all
just
becoming
like,
okay.
what?
Yeah.
He was like, what past
Yeah.
life? What did you do? Where were you?
Yeah, what were you doing in your past life?
So my first past life experience was pretty crazy. I was like in South India. I was like this like mujra dancer situation happening.
You know, this is
I know it sounds very cliche.
You were a mujra dancer in South India in your past life.
I was a dancer. Okay, let's just keep it at that. I really enjoyed dancing. I was a dancer, and there was this whole situation with this very toxic handler kind of person who threw me in front of the train tracks, and literally I got cut right there, like right in my lower abdomen. And
that's tragic.
Yeah, it was very tragic, very tragic.
Yeah.
Anyways, healed that past life, and there was one more past life which was connected, and so it goes on. But after that, during the release part of it, where you release the pain and you heal that personality, and you kind of deactivate that past life, because these are just different things that get activated within the soul memory, and when they get activated within the soul memory, it kind of downloads all of the things that were still dominant in that lifetime, like in your personality. Yeah.
So what you're saying is, the life you live today, you have lived, your soul has lived before this, or there's a past life you've lived before this, and maybe even before that.
Yeah.
And there's trauma that you've gone through in those
in
previous
other lifetimes,
in other lifetimes, which
absolutely.
can manifest in your body in your current time, in your current state.
Absolutely.
And this is a problem that people have nowadays, and
absolutely, yeah. It can be from your childhood, it can be from another life, it can be from pre-human
childhood
lifetimes.
I get, like there's something you've gone through within your own living existence, and something that you probably have overlooked, something that was said to you, something you felt, something that happened to you.
Because it
and
stays.
It stays,
the body keeps score, the body remembers.
Correct.
And it
you
stores.
go back into that, and to just kind of scratch the wound, open it up a little bit.
You fully open it up.
Open it up, let it hurt,
fully
let it
open
pain.
it up, you heal it, you close the chapter and put it away.
And that's what the inner
whole
child
point.
work is. I get that.
Yeah.
And to get there, this hypnosis way of doing it is something you have to submit yourself into and really believe in somebody to do it.
Yeah,
right?
I think there has to be some foundation of trust. And sometimes, and that's very important, like when you work with somebody, that you should have that feeling of trust with them. Because it is unknown, right? You're going into very unknown territories. You don't know what's going to come up. And as a therapist, even I don't know what's going to come up. It could be past life, it could be inner child, it could be ancestral, it could be some energy they've picked up that doesn't belong to them. It could be none of those even, you know, because we pick up stuff and everything is like a mix of energies, like us having this conversation. Here there's energy mixing. I'm saying something, you're saying something, right? So we are constantly, it's like when you look at the world as like just energy, and at a quantum level, there's just a whole lot of energy mixing happening.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But you know, this is stuff that's not in our control. What happened to you as a child is not in your control. What happened in your past life is not in your control.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about the fact that people are suffering in their day-to-day lives and they don't know why they are. So what's your state on the fact that why do people need healing? Like, do people need healing? Does everybody need healing?
No, I don't think everybody needs healing. No, I think it comes down to if something from your past is coming up again and again, then that part of your story is not resolved. And in that case, yes, you should go back and work on it. Or if there's something unknown in your life you're struggling with, like a block in some area of your life, whether it's a career or your relationships, you know, you have the same pattern, same shit happens, different guy, same story. Okay, then there is something in your space which is kind of attracting that experience, because not everybody's having that experience. Right? Everybody's having a different experience. So then you need to crack what is it that's going on in my space energetically, and how am I attracting this into my life?
Yeah.
And you're right, as children we really have no control to some degree.
Not even your past life. I mean, it's not in your control,
we
right?
don't,
And this is,
exactly.
all this is
but
stuff
as
that-
adults, the second you grow up, now it's your job. It's your responsibility to fix yourself, to heal yourself, to be the best version of yourself, so you can fully function as an adult, have a healthy, happy life, and have healthy, happy relationships.
You know, just simply from like talking to a psychiatrist or a therapist, like a lot of the people from, let's say, the previous gen, pretty frown upon this, saying that, you know, you guys have all this time to sit and think about healing, to think about work that you knew on yourself.
I agree with you.
And a lot of them have gone through their lives without any connection to their inner child work or any kind of therapist, or they have, I guess, what's told to me is that they're big families. And because they live together, if somebody had a problem, they'd go and talk to one of the older people, and they spoke to each other, and it kind of became okay, or didn't, but they didn't let it become a big deal. So are we in this gen of ours a little indulgent, or
I think
are we,
so.
or
Yes, we are too indulgent. I am fully with that. I think healing needs to be used. Like the work that I do, I don't work with people forever. Like psychologists will, you know, talk therapy is endless. Even psychiatrists, like you'll have medication, then your tolerance to that medication changes. So now you need a higher dose, and it just goes on, so on and so forth. With this work, it's like it kind of gets you into a place where your problems are dealt with, because it's all process work, right? So you deal with it, you heal it, and then you go back to life. You go back to living your life.
Like
you're not supposed to be in therapy forever.
You're
supposed to go back and live your life and go have fun. I mean, the whole point of being alive is having fun, learning things. Of course, there's pain, it's unavoidable, but having, I think, tools and practices that help you navigate your emotions and navigate difficult situations is what I help people with.
How do you decipher when you meet somebody that this person has an inner child kind of a problem, or they have a past life?
I just see if the issue requires regression therapy, or because regression therapy works with the subconscious layers of the mind, and those are the parts of ourselves that we don't have access to at a conscious level. So we don't know why we feel a certain way, for instance, okay? Or I don't know why I have anxiety, or I don't know why I feel this way. Well, that's all in your subconscious mind. It's all stored.
Is it good on a regular level to be in touch with the subconscious? Is it good?
I think so. I think to some degree, yes. Like you should be able to go within yourself. You should be able to meditate to some degree, be able to maybe make sense of your dreams. The subconscious mind is constantly talking, and often enough, if we don't have these parts of us healed, then they kind of take the wheel. And you know, the inner child will be driving the car, and the adult sitting in the way back, and then what? The inner child's throwing tantrums and like all of that. That's like typical 3-year-old behavior. I mean, you have kids, you know that.
Oh, yes, I do.
Right?
Correct.
So,
and they're at the age
so
right now
when
where
adults have those kind of tantrums, that's exactly what's going on.
So your mind is being controlled by the 10-year-old or the 5-year-old inside you.
Yes, pretty much. The inner child that needs to have this explosive reaction to whatever, and needs all of this mollycoddling or whatever it is, right? I mean, in every situation there are different issues. But when you heal some of these core issues, what happens is that you get a lot more agency as an adult. So things that are out of your control become a little lesser in your own personality. And that's where I think the work really helps. But
so once you cured yourself in a certain way, you did, and you moved on forward. How did you proceed to becoming a healer yourself?
So I got very curious. I was like, what is this? Like, how did it work? And then I did clinical hypnotherapy. Then after that, finished all those levels, and then I did TASO, which is transpersonal regression therapy. And as I started learning more, my curiosity of like understanding the mind body, how it works, how different modalities kind of work. So you don't have to use only this modality. So there's other modalities that are equally effective for in different ways, you know. So there's another one that I practice at somatic experiencing.
What is that?
That's very present focus. So there's no regression, there's no inner child, there's nothing of the past. It's your nervous system as it is now, what your body remembers right now. And so you kind of, you sit across the person and you talk and you kind of go into what's happening right now. Like, you know, if there's anxious feeling, you go into the somatic experience, basically the sensations that are stored within the body, or how we experience joy. For instance, like any emotion you have, you'll feel something in your body with it, some sort of physical charge. And so you work with that physical charge and you work with the polyvagal like nervous system theory. So you kind of help people work with the nervous system and heal it like that. That's a more present focused modality.
How many people have come to you over the years since you started? And what year did you start?
2013, 13, 14, somewhere in there I started. And I would say thousands of people, not tens of thousands, thousands.
Okay.
Yeah. Thousands.
And they come to you with and first you have to hear them out like you would as a therapist and understand what their problem is,
absolutely.
and they talk to you, they open up, and then you decipher the course of. Well,
then I decide. My approach is, you're right. It's more like first I listen. It's a lot about listening and understanding. And then, you know, my analytical mind also kind of gets involved and says, okay, this is what can help. And usually then if I am using regression therapy as one of the modalities, since I have a multidisciplinary approach, I'll start with TASO or do the regression work and then move to other therapies, also tools and practices, sometimes even biofeedback, which really works well for like physical conditions like could be anything. Like women come a lot with PCOS and endometriosis. This is very, very common. So working with some of these things, you know, even autoimmune becoming very common with women. That's another thing I'm seeing. So using biofeedback visualizations is like, again, not regression, but it's deep inner work where you kind of work with the body's intelligence.
One is in the moment, the other is inner child, and then there's past life regression. There are 3 forms of it.
There are many different modalities. So depending on what's needed. So I usually work like this. Work on the root cause, because regression allows you to get to the root cause. You heal the root cause, you've pulled out the root. Now at the conscious level, there's behaviors, habitual thinking patterns and things like that. Then you work with that. You integrate what's come up here and you kind of work with the person at this level. How to deal with the thoughts, how to deal with the emotion when it comes up, because I would say the #1 skill set that humans need to have is emotional regulation.
What is that? How do we emotionally regulate ourselves?
Exactly.
How do we do it?
How do we do it? We find where the emotion kind of sits in our body, because it has this energetic sensation and somatic presence in your body. Each emotion has that. And you kind of connect with that. You can feel where you're storing that emotion, right? You're storing it here. Some people store it here. Anger can be even in the shoulders. Where because the body wants to like, you're going to fight or flight, right? So it's this, like you feel that aggression, you know, it's in your body. It's not just here in the mind. And so when you start to use these different modalities and use the, you know, different techniques and learn to work with your emotions at a somatic level, they move through you easily. You know, it doesn't get stuck in your body. And that's what leads to long-term diseases and, you know, chronic conditions. Is like when something just didn't get processed and you suppressed it and you're like, no, I shouldn't feel this way. Having this moral ambiguity about emotions, or being self-righteous. No, this is right, that's wrong. All of this, it's like all emotions are fine.
I have to ask you, how should people, and I think it's like, for me, one of the hardest things in life is to deal with the loss of somebody you love. And it can't get bigger than that, right? How should one equip themselves to deal with the loss of somebody very near and dear, somebody who's been part of your life? And what's something that one should do to let it become what it is?
I think the first thing is you just have to go through the pain and grief. You just have to go through it, and and this is like some of the hardest stuff, right? Like losing people we love.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is accepting that loss,
Yeah.
but that takes time because when you lose someone very dear to you, your whole world changes. The world is never the same again,
Yeah.
right? When they're that close to you. So I feel like it does change you, and it's okay for loss to change you in some ways. As long as you are being true to yourself, being authentic, you will most people organically move through the process of grief. You know, there's 5 stages of loss,
Yeah.
which you may have heard of.
Yes.
Yes. So that's one thing. Like if you are aware of the 5 stages, you know where you're at. So being aware of where you're at can help you a little bit.
Yes.
But I would say that maybe even connecting with them.
Yes.
You
Connecting
know,
with them.
speaking to them in your mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll hear their answer. You'll hear them. You'll feel them. You'll sense them. As much as we say, soul is immortal and all of that, death hurts.
It does.
It hurts.
Oh.
It hurts a lot. And when we
certainly
lose
does.
someone, you can't see them. You can't hug them. It's a very real loss.
Do people come to you for that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I have a special friend of mine who has something very nice to ask you, and I think
Sure.
it's just it's just we flow with the show as it goes, and I think that in some of the guests when they come in, there's some few questions that friends have to ask. So I think there's Ritika today that we have with us
Great.
who has to ask you a question. We'll
Yes.
just look at her and say, Ritika,
Yes.
it's over to you, buddy. What's up?
Hi, so my question for you is that
Yeah.
being a healer is not easy because you are taking a lot of people's energies. And it is also impacting somewhere, it also impacts you. So are there certain spiritual practices or daily routines you follow to protect your energy?
Yes, absolutely. That's a really good question, Ritika. And I think a lot of people who enter this line of work don't often, start with those practices. It's like it's hygiene. It's
Yeah.
spiritual hygiene, energetic hygiene, because you're working with other people's energy. So it's important to clear your own energy, to protect your own energy. So some of the things that I do usually before sessions, in between sessions as well, is protect my aura by creating a shield. I think we did that, right?
Yeah, we did that.
We
I had
did
a lovely
that.
session with you.
Yeah.
Very
So
enjoyable.
it's not very difficult. Like most of these energy processes are actually quite simple. It's think of yourself like a Jedi and start to use the light like a force, like a real force that is that you can use to protect yourself,
Yeah.
cleanse yourself, and make sure you give back the energy of anybody that you've been working with. Because like I said, everything's an energy exchange, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a giving and receiving. And so you give back to the person their energy and you take back what's yours. And you do this all in your mind, and you use your imagination, you use visualization, and you connect to this infinite source of energy, this pure light. You
Yeah.
imagine it like the brightest sun you can imagine, and you just channel it like a Jedi and use it the way you want. Be creative.
Nice.
Like, yeah.
Ritika, I hope you got that.
Yeah.
Now be a Jedi. And,
Jedi.
and,
That's
and, and get stuff done. We love her. She's just always on the go.
Thank
I think
you.
we could send her to you for a bit, maybe some inner child work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've been doing this for like since 2013. And what's
10,
the name
12
of your place of work? Your
Merkaba. My center is Merkaba.
Yeah, nice. And what does that mean?
It's basically a sacred shape.
Okay.
It's a star tetrahedron, and it comes from sacred geometry. But Merkaba also is like, let's say, the vehicle of the soul energy is imprinted, let's say, in this sort of, in this shape, in this very sacred shape, which is like a star. Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that you've helped somebody or you've seen in somebody when you've done like a past life regression or like inner child work, and something that shocked you, saying, oh my God, this is insane? Or
Lots of things. So yeah, there was one really crazy session I had, which as a therapist also, I was like, as it was unfolding, I was just like, scribbling, taking notes, and like, because I have to make sure I take
Yeah.
good notes, and what happened was she had this insane phobia of needles and blood. Every time basically she was pricked, she would absolutely pass out. Like she would, before she could even see the blood, she would pass out.
Okay.
And she said, you know, I really want to get over this, and this is ridiculous, and I don't want to be passing out like this. So I said, okay, fine. And as we started digging, and you know, things came up, there was a past life involved, and in the past life, there was a younger sister of hers,
Okay.
basically, who died in that life, and was born in this life as her mother. And part of the trauma that she had when she was a child, basically, was the incomplete relationship in the previous lifetime.
With
and
her
so by
sister,
so by completing that in this, in that kind of, let's say, metaphysical space, she was able to, through one session, she was fine. She had a blood test and she told me it's good.
But what did that have to do with her taking the blood?
So there was basically, in the past life, she had a very uncomfortable death experience. So a lot of these kind of things come from like incomplete deaths, not dying properly.
Spook you out when you're doing all of this?
Not anymore. Not anymore, because it's like I'm present with them. And it's like a field of information, and I accept and acknowledge that there's multiple stories and layers of reality that I don't have access to.
It's like Inception in a certain way. I mean,
It is,
right?
That's why I love that movie.
It is, right?
I absolutely love that movie. It's so
how
much
many
like
lives
that.
how many lives are there?
Too many. I don't know.
How many
I
lives
can't
have you-
answer
how
that
many
because
lives
I really
have you-
don't know.
How many lives have you gone back into?
Too many. I've done a lot of past life work, but
No, within one person. How many lives have you gone back to? 2
Within
past
one
life
person?
regression, 3 past life. How many
so
going back in years?
typically, sometimes we do multiple lives if they're related to the same issue in one session, because they could be like the same issue, and then you need to track it all the way back to where it began. Let's say somebody comes to you and they're seriously going through some trauma,
Yeah.
and they are a victim of abuse in a way. So there is a victim perpetrator dynamic. Now, whenever you find a victim perpetrator dynamic, the way we've been taught is that we need to trace it back to where it began.
Yeah.
To the first lifetime where this victim perpetrator dynamic began. And when you go to that and go to what caused that, usually it flips. The victim is the perpetrator and the perpetrator is the victim. So when you go back and heal that situation, this situation also kind of, it neutralizes. Versus being on this end, victim, perpetrator, you don't want to be either. You want to be here in the middle, right? Life is about balance.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't want to be feeling sorry for yourself all the time.
But tell
That's
me,
not healthy.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that if you get a client who comes to you,
Yeah,
or somebody comes to you for help,
yeah.
there's got to be time that's saying this can't happen. Like I can't have a like non-believing what you're saying. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that you're saying I have a sister in my past life who's
No,
now my
no,
mom. So
I don't.
How does it? How do you convince them
The thing
then?
is, I don't convince them.
Ah.
So it's a guided process where I take them back and they will tell me what they find. They are the ones who. So in Tasso, it's not me telling them that this is where you go. You don't go to an inner
just
child.
happens automatically.
No. They're conscious. It's consciousness. It really isn't in my hands. That's why I said, like, I don't know where every session is going to end up. So it's consciousness. When you go
Yes.
back through the somatic bridge of how the body remembers it. So you take the emotion, you take the somatic, the emotion and how it's stored and felt in the body. You go back to across space and time to the very first time it was felt, and the client will end up there. And then they will start telling you, oh, I'm 5 years old and I'm at my birthday party and this is my cake and this is the thing and who else is there, and then I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
So I'm uncovering it with them. You see, I don't know. I don't lead them there.
It uncovers by itself.
It uncovers by itself. And
Yeah.
many people who come and don't believe in past lives also sometimes have those experiences, and at the end of it, they'll have this intense, like cathartic experience, and they've gone through so much emotion, and at the end of it, when they kind of sit up after it's done and they integrate, open their eyes, and they're like, that was crazy and I can't believe that. Did I make it all up? And that's a very common question that does come up. Like, did I make up all of that? Did I imagine all of that?
Correct.
And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You believe it or you don't believe it. Just go with your experience.
So
Just go with what you felt.
I remember we had this one fun session, and I call it fun because I think that what I really enjoyed doing, in fact, it was during COVID and things, and I think it was over the phone or over the laptop.
It was
and
Zoom,
Yeah, it was a Zoom thing.
It
I
was
mean,
a Zoom
ideally it's supposed to be
session.
one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I remember the best part about the session was that I remember doing a deep dive into my subconscious.
Yes.
Which unlocks so many things
Yeah.
and makes you remember so many things from your past, or so many things that you've kind of tucked in, hidden away
Yeah.
in various compartments and boxes. They are there, they just need to be looked at, but you've just lying there gathering dust.
Yeah.
And the most interesting part was to just open them and say, oh, this is what happened when I was young, and this is what happened when I was there, and I lived my life like this. And then it brings out these surge of emotions that makes you feel like, oh wow, so much time has passed. I did this as a child.
Yes.
This is what happened in my teens. This is what happened when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And I think if nothing else, it made me feel really good about the fact that I've reconnected with, my entire years of growing up.
Wow.
And it's not just,
That's amazing, no?
it's amazing.
Yeah,
that
connecting with that younger part of you.
Because in your day-to-day life, what are you doing? You're consumed by your children's school, by paying the bills, by getting on shoot, getting off shoot, traveling, your day-to-day chores. So you forget to connect. Sometimes music does it for you.
Yeah,
sometimes,
music does it so well. Yeah.
Sometimes, chatting with old friends does it for you.
Yeah.
But I feel it was very interesting. Not also, I want to get people to understand that away from fixing, away from healing,
how
could you enhance yourself, your living, your thinking, your day-to-day being, using what you do?
So I would say the first thing is learning to regulate your stress and emotions and doing things that really help that. So movement is amazing. I would say making sure you move every single day, whether you'd like to dance, whether you like to walk. If you don't like anything, just go for a walk. I would say that is one of the best things, like having some kind of physical exertion, using your body, moving your body is so important, because it also helps discharge that stress.
Yeah.
When you're in fight or flight, like all of that energy is stored, right? And when you walk and when you do some sort of any kind of physical thing, it releases, it discharges. And that's why you feel so nice after like a workout or yoga, or even just a really good strenuous walk. You feel like, there's like this really nice sort of, and you feel happy. So I would say if there's anything you can do for your mental health, move. Like move as much as you can move in a day. Take long and deep breaths. I think that really helps me, like just breathing, being connected to my breath. Stay as present as you can with people. When you meet your family, put away your phone, like little things like that, like being really present in your relationships, I think makes a phenomenal difference to how people feel. And I think we're in that time where everybody has a screen, okay? Like from like little children to grandparents, like you name it.
They're on it the whole day.
Everybody is like WhatsApp and this and that.
It's
and
a swipe up.
So it's, I think that's another thing, is like staying grounded in reality, that's not real. Like it has its own place, and it has its own function to serve, but once we become a slave to it, I think that is when we lose value for our time. And so like really valuing your time and like being as present as we can to our lives, to ourselves, to people, to mindfully like enjoying our coffee, like enjoying the taste, not being in a rush, because that's another thing. Urgency in Bombay, my god, it's manic. What a manic city we live in. I just got back from a holiday and I just feel the pulse of this city is amazing, but it's manic.
Too much. It's too much at times.
It's like, wow, go.
And sometimes you're going nowhere, but you're still going. In
So
the same
slowing
spot.
down. Slowing down.
But listen,
I think
this is amazing. Also, lastly, I want to know that so how much would a session with you, like how does one do a session with you if somebody were to get in touch with you? Of course, we have the details put out here.
So they just reach out to me, send me a message, and then we figure out when we can get together, have a session. There'd be like a little call to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. The client has to be a good fit for me, and I have to be a good fit for the client, right? I mean, it has to work both ways. They have to feel like they want to work with me, and very rarely have I felt like I don't want to work with somebody, but that can happen. So
Well, I'll tell you what, you're a great fit for the show. And great fit for coming out here. Thank you so much for being out here.
Me.
It is so much fun, Tui.
Thank you.
And more power to you.
Thank you.
More power for you to go and heal the world and continue doing what you're doing.
That's
Tui, guys, and
so
she's here with us today, and now we're going to go chill and chat and talk about parenting and and how the kids are driving us nuts. See you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you.